What's up, everybody? Week 9 in the books. We are in week 10. We're getting down to the last third of the season, man. And, man, this week was probably one for the record books in this league. Before we get into it, three trades, some of the blockbuster trades. First, first trade up was between Colin Kaepernick and Baby Shark. Cooper Kupp for Antonio Gibson. Now, listen, strong trade. Each team gets something that they need. Baby Shark gets a wide receiver that they've been short on. They've had a plethora of running backs. Colin Kaepernick gets Antonio Gibson, and Jordan needed a running back, so the trade worked out well for both. And let's see how it plays out down the rest of the season. Next trade between Baby Shark again and Eli, two-time Super Bowl MVP. Justin Herbert for Joe Mixon. And this was an interesting trade. On my end, I can say, I had Rodgers, so Herbert, he was just a luxury. Hopefully, he doesn't come back to bite me. And, I can understand with Evan giving up Mixon. He couldn't hold him this year. Next year, he would have gone back into the free agent pool, so at least he got something with it. Herbert, who looks like he may be the real deal, you can keep him for the next few years. So hopefully, the trades work out for both teams. And then the final blockbuster trade, which I know had some owners scratching their head. But after speaking with the owner, I got a better understanding of why he pulled the trade and how it may just work. The trade between Frank's Jets and Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights offers up Jared Goff, Tyler Boyd, and David Montgomery for Carson Wentz and the prize in this trade, Davante Adams. I had a few people like, that's crazy. Why did you give up Davante Adams? He didn't get nothing in return. Well, after speaking with Frank's Jets, speaking with my brother-in-law, this was the reasoning. One, if you look at the guys he got in return, they've got a very soft schedule down the stretch. Sorry, I can't even talk. Down the stretch. And already with his record solidified in the top tier of the playoff status, if he wins a few more games he's in, that's going to be beneficial for him. And listen, I tend to agree. Tyler Boyd, I think, has become the number one guy in Cincinnati. And as Burrows becomes better and better, that's just going to boost up Boyd's numbers more and more. Montgomery, that's a little more suspect. He's a good running back when he can stay healthy. Problem is, he doesn't stay healthy enough. What my brother was saying, his team has kind of been decimated. He just need to add people to the roster. And with Jared Goff, listen, Goff is having a good season. He also has a weak schedule down the stretch. I also think Davante Adams, I don't know if he's going to continue his production with other wide receivers coming back like Lazar. That being said, Terry just got the number one wide receiver in football, who has just been a monster this year. And Terry, who's just on the cusp on the outside looking in for the playoff spots, that could be a big, huge boost. And if he gets in with the team he has, with the combination of Davante Adams, Patrick Mahomes, Gotham Knights may be dangerous, man. That's a team where if I'm the number one seed, I don't want to face that team if he's the number 8. I mean, you have Miles Sanders, who's coming back from injury. He has Thielen, who he's underperformed, but he can still give you that big game. And like I said, it's Mahomes and Davante Adams. So listen, it could be a trade that could work out for both. Also, the big thing, also my brother-in-law, the big thing, also the same issue with Baby Shark. He couldn't keep Adams after this year because he kept him twice already. That keepers league is now you're starting to see it come into play now. Whereas if you're not going to keep a guy next year, do you trade him now and get some value? Get somebody who you may be able to keep long term in the future? Or do you just ride it out and then you just lose into free agency the next year? Guys, look at your rosters. I'm going to say one other thing before I get into the picks. I've seen some of you guys where trades are being offered and there's been counter offers. You guys have to be realistic with your trades. I'm seeing some trade proposals that are just ridiculous. You're not going to expect to get a superstar player and you give up the bums of your team. That's just not going to happen. So you've got to trade in good faith if you're going to try to trade. If you're trying to get a superstar player, most likely you're going to have to give up a superstar in your own rights. But to get your guy who's deep dug in the bench, who's not getting any burn, and you're trying to get someone who's averaging 20 points, it's not going to happen. This is my word of advice for people because I see some trade offers that just scratches my head. So, that being said, let's jump right into it. Last week, holy crap, had some good games. First off, we'll start off with Eli, two-time Super Bowl MVP versus Bushwick Hitman. So, Bubba, you're one of the originals in this league. And can you believe that last week's matchup was our 12th head-to-head matchup against each other? And I was leading the series 6-5. Now let's make that 7-5. 7 wins, 5 losses, and I pull out the 118-100 win. Man, I look at my team, and I was kind of kicking myself for not starting Rodgers, because I was like, man, he dropped 35, and I was like, crap. I went with Herbert because Herbert's been lights out. I was like, I hope Herbert doesn't pull up a dud. He didn't. He dropped 27 points. It wasn't as much as Rodgers, but it did what it needed to do for me to get the job done and get the win. Judy, finally having a big game for me, man. I got a lot of confidence in this kid. This kid out of Alabama was a beast, and I was just waiting for it, and it was nice to see him finally get a good game. Listen, Bubba, I mean, you came up strong. Fuller had a good game. Robinson had a good game, but Gronkowski killed you, man. I know in that last game I was watching, you had Gronk going. I had Fournette, and I was like, all right, let's see how this plays out. And, man, I got the better of that deal, man. I pull out the win. I go up to 6-3. Bubba, you've lost 2 in a row now. You drop down to 3-6. Bad Boys versus Team Deal. And Bad Boys, man. Eddie, you just got the luck that every time you face a team, man, they can't score. I've got to check to see if any team has dropped 100 points against you this season. You get to win 119-94. Man, Danny, you didn't have many guys that did anything for you, man. It sucks, man. It was even your bench didn't perform. Eddie, you had a monster game from Kyler Murray. Well, Murray drops 43 points, and pretty much that's what wins it for you. Murray doesn't have that game, you lose. Because everyone else performed okay. I mean, Gurley and Jacobs gave you 12 and 13 respectively. But, I mean, Kyler Murray's what put you over the top. Bad Boys goes up to 6-3. Danny, Team Deal drops down to 3-6. Gotham Knights versus Mean Machines, and man, dude, Terry, I feel for you, man. Dude, I feel for you, man. You just got some bad luck this season. I thought you had to win. And then Jacoby Myers. What is up with New England and these freaking Wall for names? And Jarvis Green Ellis. Now you got Jacoby Myers. 23 points on a Monday Night Football against the Jets. On an offensive attack that had no offense. And I'm going to just tell you, Cam Newton cannot throw. It's bad. Watching him throw, it's like he's forcing the ball everywhere. He cannot throw. 104-90. Mean Machines pull out the win. Khalid finally drops the losing streak. He goes up to 3-6. Terry, you drop down to 3-6. You're still not out of it. You're still around the outside looking in. And I know you got a big trade that can help you out. So, man, I wish you luck, man. Colin Kaepernick versus Baby Shark. After this week, they decided to pull the trade together, and Colin Kaepernick pulls out the win, 115-98. Big gains by Big Ben, 31 points. Huge game by McLaurin, who, let me tell you, from Washington, looks like a stud, man. He's just been consistent week in, week out. The Giants defense, 20 points. The Giants, you know what? Let me tell you something. This Giants team, one, which is crazy to say they might make the playoffs, because I think they're playing the best right now in that NFC East. And you talk about coaching, the way Judge handled that Golden Tate situation, I miss that type of stability in with the Giants. It's good to see. It's going to be fun to watch the Giants over the next few years. I think they're trending in the right direction. Going back to this, Colin Kaepernick beats Baby Shark 115-98. Colin Kaepernick now 6-3. Baby Shark 3-6. You see the trend. A lot of 6-3 teams. A lot of 3-6 teams. All right, we'll go to the next matchup, and it's Frank's Jets versus Brooklyn Giants, man, and a nail biter. Brooklyn Giants pulls out the win, 82-80. Well, that last game, Tampa, watching them play, you have both Ronald Jones and Mike Evans. It looked like you were weren't going to pull it out because, man, Tampa was horrific. But you just got enough points to edge you over, give you the win. French Jets drops down to 6-3. Brooklyn Giants goes up to 4-5. Flying Buffalo versus Steel Curtain. And I thought, Alex, honestly, I thought you didn't have a chance in this just because your team was just trending in the wrong direction. Ariel's team, Steel Curtain, was going in the right direction. It just looked like, you know what, this was gonna be a win on Steel Curtain's end. But man, Alex, man, your team came through this week. Holy crap. 43 points from Josh Allen. 40 points for Dalvin Cook. Two guys alone dropped 80 points. And cruise you to the 154-105 victory, man. You had a huge game from your quarterback and your running back. The Titans defense pretty much added a little flavor there with 21 points. Alex, Flying Buffalo Wings goes to 5-4. Ariel, your team drops down to 5-4. And in the last matchup, Legendary Giant versus NC 8000. And probably one of the most lopsided losses this league has ever seen. Legendary Giant wins 122-52. A 70-point, but 69.99 to be exact. Blowout. So it's crazy. So again, I go back to MC 8000 always had McCaffrey, and he had to give him up this year because of the rules of the keepers. And Legendary Giant drives him, but he gets injured. He's out for a while. He finally comes back against MC 8000, drops 32 points, and then gets injured again. He's out. So it's like he just came back just to torment Marco. Marco, man, I know it sucks, bro, man. It was a tough loss. Legendary Giant, 7-2, top in the league. NC 8000 drops down to 3-6. So, man, like I said, we look at the leaderboard and Vaughn's on top, 7-2, followed by 4 teams with a 6-3 record. Colin Kaepernick, Eli 2-time Super Bowl MVP, Frank's Jets, and Bad Boys, who round up 2-5. And then the 6th and 7th spot goes to Flying Buffalo Wings and Steel Curtain, with Flying Buffalo Wings having a tiebreaker there. And then the 8th spot held solely by Will's Brooklyn Giants at 4-5. But Will, don't get too comfortable. Why? Because you have 6 teams that are 1 game behind you. 6 teams at 3-6. Any one of those teams can come up and take over that spot. So we're still close. We're 9 games in. I believe there's 5 games left. 5 games left in the season before the playoffs start, I believe. Or 4 games left. I'll check to confirm. But man, these games, every game it counts now. So make sure you've got your lineup set. Make sure you make your right picks because we're coming down to the wire. Now we look at this week's matchup. And first we'll start with Eli, 2-time Super Bowl MVP versus Gotham Knights. Now, Terry, if I'm right, I think this is the 3rd time now in our history that I'm playing you in the same week in both leagues. I'm in Terry's league, and in that league, we're facing against each other also. And if I am correct, I think I'm undefeated against you when this happens. Sorry to say, Terry, it's going to happen again, man. I'm getting the W this week here, and I'm going to get the W in your league, man. Sorry, Terry. Listen, and then you need to win this week more than anything else. But I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna have to drop that L on you, bro. Sorry. So I got Eli 2-time Super Bowl MVP for this week. Then we got Baby Shark versus Bushwick Hitman. And I'm going with Bushwick Hitman. Bubba, I think you're gonna bounce back. I think Deshaun Watson's gonna have a big game against Cleveland. I think Fuller scored a touchdown, I think, in the last 4 straight games. And honestly, Robinson, I think he's the key for you. And against Green Bay, I actually think that game's gonna be closer than what they think, and I think he's gonna have some points. I got Bushwick Hitman taking this one. Next matchup, we have Mean Machines versus Legendary Giant. And man, I'm going with the Legendary Giant. I just want your team is just stout. Even with the loss of McCaffrey. And this is someone who pays attention to the waiver wire. This is a guy who's paying attention to reports. And listen, it's not a fluke why you're 7-2 and then why most years you're on the top of the standings. Quick to pick up Balaj. As soon as news came out that Jackson was going to IR, Balaj was going to get signed for the rest of the year. Boom, you pick him up. You have him on your team, and you got him started. Picked up Zach Moss from Buffalo. That's worked out for you. Dude, good pickup. I got the win going to you over Mean Machines. Next matchup, Team Deal versus Flying Buffalo Wings. You know what? Alex may have righted the ship here. Even though Danny, I want to pick your team because I think you're gonna have some guys there who have some surprising games like Robert Woods. I just think right now Cook is on another level right now. Cook is just like he's probably the #1 back in the league right now. I'm gonna give it to Flying Buffalo Wings with the win this week. Bad Boys versus Brooklyn Giants. I'm giving Bad Boys the win just because, watch, Will, you're going to drop like 80 points this week. Because every time Eddie faces somebody, they don't score. I don't know what happens to the team. He's got some kryptonite, don't know what it is, but I think Bad Boys is going to get the win against Will's Brooklyn Giants. And Team 8000 versus Steel Curtain. I'm going to go with Team 8000. Marco, I see right now with Steel Curtain, she's got a wide receiver on the bye, and I understand why. Both your wide receivers on the bye. And is it worth dropping one of you guys you have on your team? For our receivers, not going to do much. We're going to have more value there. That being said, we're getting down to nitty gritty. Is it worth potentially losing that slot and losing the week? That's a tough call. But I still think Team 8000. I think it's going to be very close, but I think Team 8000 gets the win. And the final matchup, Colin Kaepernick versus Frank's Jets. And I got Colin Kaepernick taking. I just think Roethlisberger's, I think, is going to have a good game against Cincinnati. Their defense is crap. Jones is back, so I think he's going to get some love. And McLaurin against Detroit's defense, I think he's going to have a monster game. And I got Colin Kaepernick going over Frank's Jets. So my picks this week, Eli, 2-time Super Bowl MVP. Bushwick Hitman, Legendary Giant, Flying Buffalo Wings, Bad Boys, Team 8000, Colin Kaepernick. Like I said, man, listen, if you're teetering, you're borderline, and you're missing key points that could push you over the top when you trade, that's nothing. Also, trade for your need. If you have 7 different wide receivers, but you don't want to get rid of one of them, it doesn't make sense. You can only start 3. So you really got to start thinking as the buys end, who are you going to roll with down the stretch? You got to understand insurance policy, but, man, listen, there's some teams right now that have needs that should be trading, and they're not. So I'm just saying, trade in good faith and start asking people around of what you want. Right now, I think I'm set. I only got one more trade piece going. I got Waller on the trade market. So if someone's looking for a top 2 tight end, because I think only Kelsey is better right now, I'm listening for offers. So if you're looking for a tight end, if your tight end is not strong, hit me up with a trade. We'll see what we can do. You guys have a good week. We're going to take it to the Eagles this week. Let's have a good week, man.